You are now listening to Sweep the Rack podcast featuring Brooklyn Rob and Big Mike.
Rob, what's good, homie?
Yo, man, it's just another week. Not a lot of news on my end when it comes to bowling, but I know you got a bunch of stuff going on, so we're gonna skip over me tonight.
No. Well, let me ask, how's life? If you don't have anything bowling, how's life, man?
Dude, it's work, man.
Your office is crazy. Yo, let me say this. Follow Rob on Instagram just for his occasional work tweets, because when he puts stuff from his work in his story, I have to text him and be like, yo, like, I need to know the background of what is going on in this video that you have here. So, yeah, man. So how's work? How's the work life?
Dude, work is crazy, man. The CEO of my company he's a good dude. He's right around my age. And dude, this guy, like, they just got this big funding. It was all over social media and LinkedIn. They got literally about 130 million in their second level of funding. They started the company back in 2017. So 130 million for a second round of funding is huge. Dude, we got an iced coffee tap, right? Dude, every Monday and Friday, he does like a Wolf of Wall Street type, like, they call it a 909, where he gets up with a microphone and he like rallies the troops, you know, and then like he bets people. Yo, he'll bet anybody. Like I've seen him bet up to like $500 if you could beat him in cornhole, and he has like bags on the floor. But if you don't beat him, you got to do like crazy bets. So he made a guy wear eyelashes, like they literally put eyelashes but he's so good at cornhole. So quick story, he challenged me to cornhole, and I'm like, dude, I stink at cornhole, but anything I bet you in cornhole, we going on the lanes and we're doubling that bet. And then he thought about it for a sec, and he's like, wait a sec, you're a pretty good bowler, right? I'm like, nah, I'm really not that good. And then he's like, wait a sec. He's like, don't you like run a podcast? I'm like, man. And yeah, kind of, we've been doing it for a couple of years. He's like, oh, I see how it is. You're trying to sandbag me. I'm like,
Trying to pull that hustle. That's how bowlers do.
That's what I do, man. So one day I'm sure we're gonna end up having some kind of bowling event, and then I'm gonna have to bring my A game.
You know,
even though
listen,
it'll probably be like Glow Bowl or something.
We're going way off the rails right here, but early. Yo, we need him to do regular people watch bowling.
You want me, dude?
Yeah. Yeah. Yo,
this guy,
get it done. We need the CEO of your company to come on the show for a regular people watch bowling segment, and I want to talk to this guy about his office antics. Honestly,
dude, I'll ask him. I don't know if he'll come. He's a super, like, he's one of those. I mean, he's the CEO of a company, right?
Get me his Twitter. So I don't care if he's a CEO. Tell him we had the executive director of the USBC on last week. We've had Norm Duke on this podcast. Come on, get out of here.
I'll ask him. Hopefully we have a happy hour Friday, so I'll talk to him during the happy hour and see if I can get him on.
Listen, buy him a couple drinks before you ask him.
Dude, I don't trust me. I don't need to buy him a bunch of drinks. I've seen this guy's ride, man. Yo,
what's he drive?
It's like some like high series Mercedes, but it's like black on black, and dude, it's pretty sick ride though.
That's not that impressive.
It's not like a Bentley or Ferrari, man. These guys like.
Yeah, I was expecting you to say an Aston Martin, or I mean, I work with people that drive Mercedes.
He's a good dude. I don't know if he'll come on, but I'll ask him though. I'll take the shot.
Okay, all right.
Let's hear, man. You had a bunch of things going on.
Listen. Yes. People reading our minds, Rob. Right.
Yep.
Mike Ware says, going to be very interesting what the 2022 PBA schedule will be. We are waiting. Yeah, we're waiting too, right? And, while we're waiting, we were going to say this a little bit later in the show. We'll put it out there right now. Next week, and we've put this out there before and told people we were going to do this, but next week, Rob and I are going to engage in a speculative exercise, which we love around here at Sweep the Rack, where Rob and I are going to put together our own 2022 PBA schedule. And we're going to present our own 2022 PBA schedule, what we would like to see, how many events, money for top prizes, etc. So we'll have that for you guys next week. And Mike Ware, I would imagine that there'll be some discussion about, the PBA schedule in general next week when we do that. So, Rob, I'm looking forward to creating a much better schedule than you, because I know that's going to be the outcome. So, your efforts are kind of fruitless.
Yeah, so maybe, but I'll put my best foot forward to compete with you, Mike. I know you're a big bowling historian and probably know already what the hell you're doing, but I have to sit down and think about, maybe I'll have a couple of drinks and sit down and kind of think of what I want to do. But
right,
real quick before we go,
Matt is saying, will the PBA have a full schedule out? No, Matt, what I meant was, I think we'll probably get into a discussion of the PBA schedule generally and how it's looked versus what Rob and I come up with. Right, I think that would be part of the discussion next week.
Nico, what's going to happen, and that schedule is going to end up getting released Wednesday morning. You know what's going to happen because
Wednesday.
Because Coley listens to our podcast, and she's probably listening right now, and she's going, "Oh shit, we got to put the schedule out when they do, because we don't want people to think that's the actual real schedule." Even though our schedules, I'll go out on a limb, Mike, and say we're probably going to be a lot better than their schedule.
Different.
Now, that being said, real quick before we go into your league, I know we have some stories. Your league, you also had a Friday night disaster. We want to talk about that, but just FYI for the fans out there. Tonight, we plan on, for the last 10, 15 minutes, talk to the fans, answer questions, anything you guys want to ask us, anything, bowling, non-bowling related, whatever it is you guys are curious, you want us to talk about, we're going to do that. So ask questions during this chat, during the show, and then at the last 10, 15 minutes, we'll go through and we're going to pick some of the best and maybe most outrageous stuff you guys can come up with. And maybe we'll give a shot and try to answer. So yeah, just being said, let's do it. I'm excited. Big Mike, let's start with your Friday night, okay? Because you talked about you were going to put out a sport pattern, right? Practice. You called out some people. You wanted to bowl some competition, right? You had this whole thing set up. So break it down. What happened? Let's give us, not the 45-minute version, but
quick version.
Let's hear it.
The match, the person I was supposed to have the match with canceled on me a couple hours before.
Oh, they didn't want the smoke.
I don't know. Well, they said it. There were some personal issues involved, so I'm not gonna air them out like that. But couldn't find a replacement, so that kind of fell through. Show up to bowl and get informed that it's $7 a game. Yeah, $7 a game.
$7 a game. Those are like crack prices.
Yeah, so $7 a game because it's Friday night, quote unquote prime time, even though I was probably one of 6 people in the entire bowling center for most of the time I was there. Then I take out my shoes, and I discover that my heel is openly. No, it wasn't a Bolero. It's a private center. Howard Forrest is asking, is it a Bolero center? No, it's a private center. Scott Camp is asking, there was supposed to be action on a pattern. Yes, Scott, I am inviting bowlers, whoever, really, anybody who's not deeply experienced on bowling on sport patterns to come and bowl a match against me at a local bowling center by me. So $7 a game. Here I had two pairs done with a fresh sport pattern. I take out my shoes and I see that the heel on my shoes is flopping around. Now, like, the pro shop's not open, but turns out they have a vending machine that sells super glue. So I had to get the super glue. I had to put super glue on the heel of my shoe. Had some issues getting it to stick, but after a while it dried and did stick. So I was able to resolve that. Then I start practicing, and I'm taking the it thumb in and out of my bowling balls, and all of a sudden the it thumb won't go in. Right? It won't go in, and I can't figure out why it won't go in. It doesn't look like there's anything wrong with the bottom portion, but it just won't turn to screw. So I take it out, and I notice when I put my thumb in it that there's 3 hairline cracks going down the it sleeve. And it must be that when I put my thumb in it, it won't turn. So I figured out that I could put it in without my thumb in it, turn it around, get it back in. I was able to practice. My homie GQ came out. We had a great time. He got to bowl on sport for the first time. After about a half a game, he was like, I cannot believe that this is this hard and what I bowl on regularly is this easy. He's like, this is just insane. It's insane. So we practiced for a while. Montreal was the pattern. We went out to dinner afterwards. Had a great time. Great practice session. Now, let me say,
question.
Go ahead.
So you didn't get a big turnout, right? Why is that? I mean, were you were you publicizing it? I mean, other than the podcast, because I don't imagine a lot of people listen to podcasts that are from your local area. So did anybody else know about it? Are you able to try to get the word out more?
Yeah, so I did put it out on a few local bowling competition pages, just to let people know. I did go around to my sport league, which is in the same county that this bowling center is in, and let those people know that I was going to be there and had it set up. But yeah, no, listen, I didn't get any turnout really. It was just me and GQ. Now the next one is going to be not this Friday, the following Friday. I do have another match set up. It's against another local friend of mine who is a regular league bowler, but has bowled some sports stuff, bowls an occasional sport league during the summer here and there. So we'll see how that goes and where that goes. But, listen, I'm going to have to tell the manager. I'm going to have to tell the manager, and you know the manager. We talked about the connection last week. I'm just going to have to tell her that, listen, I'll pay the $7 a game, and I'll explain why in a minute if that sounds crazy to you. But I'm going to have to explain to her that at that rate, I'm never going to be able to build it up into anything. It's just impossible. There's not enough people who are willing to pay $7 a game. Now, before you ask me some questions, Rob, let me go a little bit longer here on this. The next day, okay, I go to my pro shop to remedy the thumb issue I was having, okay? Pro shop opens at 12 o'clock because the bowling center opens at 12 o'clock. A few days before that, I got an email from the gentleman who runs my sport league telling us that Bolero, the center where I bowl the sport league, had agreed to put out our sport pattern for the following week on every Saturday, and they open at noon. So I'm like, okay, I'll kill two birds with one stone. I'll go over, get the thumbs done, practice a little bit, throw the new balls on the actual sport pattern I'm going to bowl on this week. Rob, I walk into Bolero at 12 noon. There's literally no one in there. There's not a single lane on, and Cosmic's on. Okay, there were 6 of us who were there to practice on the sport pattern. 6 people walking in right when they opened. 2 of them left. 4 of us stayed and practiced 2 games each, and then we packed it up. And yeah, basically it's a corporate policy that at 12 o'clock they have to turn the Cosmic on. There was only one other person in the entire center, 2 other people maybe, and one of them was a serious bowler like us, a young teenager who was practicing himself. So let me go back now to my $7 game experience. Listen, I'm willing to pay the $7 a game. Here's why. Because to have 2 fresh sport patterns in a center that has decent equipment on a Friday night when I don't have to work the next day, all to myself with nobody within 20 lanes of me in an empty bowling center, is worth it to me. Okay, it's worth it to me to pay $7 a game for that.
Dude.
But do we see where our options are at? Guys, I mean, people in the chat. And again, ask us anything later in the show. So if you have some questions for us, bowling or not bowling related, hit us up in the chat. We're going to choose some at the end of the show. Rob, the choices are terrible. It's either take my free games through Bolero, the 3 free games a week they give you, and bowl on Cosmic, practicing on sport, or pay $7 a game to get the hookup and put the patterns out. Go ahead, Rob.
Okay, so there's so much wrong with this story. First off, okay, regardless of what anybody tells me, you will not be successful getting people to practice with you on that sport pattern for $7 a game. Okay, you will not have anybody show up. Okay, $7 a game for you and me. Maybe I would even consider it going 3 games, $21. Okay, I bite the bullet and I pay it. Especially if I'm in the middle of competing, or if I'm getting ready to bowl tournaments, whatever, it's an investment. You could even write it off, right? If you make some income. But what just a regular casual like league bowlers like you want to get exposure for, there's no chance that they'll show up at $7 a game. And Robert Hamilton, I saw your comment about they make announcements during league. Yes, they could. You could probably get him to do it, but at $7 a game, nobody's going to show up. Trust me, nobody's going to show up. So you need to really like try to figure out how you can try to get that cost down.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
really,
not sure what you could do.
Ideally, it should be a flat fee, right? For 7 to 10, flat fee. Pay $20. $20 for the 3 hours.
Just put an hour for 20, man, and then you could bowl like that. To me, like you could.
Yeah,
bowl
but an hour for 20 is a lot too, because you're probably not going to bowl 3 games in an hour.
What? I could bowl about. If I'm by myself, I could probably bowl.
Yeah, but I'm going to have other people on the pair and stuff, so you might only get 2 games. I think it's got to be somewhere around
15 an hour.
Yeah, 15 an hour, 10 to 15 an hour, maybe like
$4 a game.
15 if you want 1 hour. 30 to 25 if you want 2, 30 if you want all 3. Right? Something like that. That price doesn't make sense, I don't think. But it's tough. You're right, Rob. You're right. I'm never going to be able to build it into anything in that way. No. Right. So all right. So that was kind of my practice experience over the weekend.
But here's the thing about the Bolero. So let me get into the Bolero thing.
Right.
Okay. So I'm going to hammer Bolero right now, because finally, when you tell me, hey, they emailed saying that they're going to have the patterns out on a Saturday for when you come practice. Finally, I'm like, okay, you're making progress, right? Bolero's finally, maybe that center is deciding they want to cater a little bit to the competitive bowlers, like stuff we talk about all the time, right? And then they go ahead and they put global on at the same time that they email everybody that like they're going to put out the sports shots. What is going on in their minds? Like, are they just dumb? Like, do they know what the hell they're doing? Like to me, that's like nobody wants to practice during global. I mean, I don't care what anybody says to me, right? Like, dude, like I mean, so here's what I would do, Mike, is I would go, that's a Bolero center. I would go talk to the manager, right? Go talk to the person there,
I did.
the person in charge.
I did. And, so part of this is related to the pandemic too, because they used to open at 10 and we would have 2 hours to come in and practice before they turned the 100%.
That's what Red Rock did. That's what Red Rock was doing.
Okay. So now they're not opening until 12. And I don't, obviously that's pandemic related, but it's probably also business related. But yeah, listen, I plan on reaching out to somebody at Bolero and asking them like, hey, there were 6 people there the first week. We'll get more people to show up if you open up at 9 or 10 o'clock and give us 2 or 3 hours to come in before the Cosmic, but I don't know. I don't know what the answer will be,
Yeah. Stupid. The whole thing, that whole situation, I would be so pissed, especially if imagine if I drove like a half hour or 40 minutes because I'm like, I don't have anywhere else to practice.
I drive 35 minutes to get there too.
Yeah. So what were you like when you walked in? I mean, obviously you got your shit done in the pro shop. So at least you said, okay, maybe I'll get the shit.
I mean, listen, I try not to be too crazy about it. You know what I'm saying?
Look, Dave, I'm not going to like chew out Bolero and, for caring about money, because look, like ultimately they are a business. And we got into that with the interview last week with Chad, because we heard a lot about consumer demand. And, Mike really got hard on them about, caring more about the business side of it than the integrity side of it, right? But I really can't really chew out Bolero for caring about only money, because guess what? They're a business. That would be like me chewing my company out for only caring about money, right? Like,
yeah, but to that point, Rob, to that point, I had this conversation with some of the guys that showed up on Saturday. To that point, doesn't that say the consumer demand on a Saturday morning at that particular Bolero center is saying no, shut the Cosmic off and do more lanes with the sport pattern so these guys can come in and practice? I mean, there was nobody else there except us. That was pretty much it. There was one father and son, little kid using a ramp down on lane 1. There was one more teenage bowler who was seriously trying to practice a couple lanes over from that, and then it was us, right? So my point to the guys that I was bowling with was, I really think that Bolero would be well served by going, and you know, I don't care. People are going to say, oh, he's talking about himself or whatever. No, I'm not. I have a job. I wouldn't leave my job to work for Bolero. But I think they would be really well served, Rob, by going out and hiring some people that really know bowling in their areas. And people who would be able to tell them, all right, you know, in this center, no, we need to do this on a Saturday morning because this is what this center dictates. Whereas a center maybe a town away, no, that's different. You know, we don't have that same demand over there, so we have a different schedule over there. You know,
100%.
When they do the corporate blanket, this is what we're doing,
right.
Blanket policy, doesn't work.
Right. Here's the thing is, I know this growing up in a bowling alley. You know this growing up in a bowling alley. A great bowling proprietor will cater to both competitive bowler and to casual recreation bowler, okay? Northern Lanes in Midland, Michigan. If anybody's ever went there, it's the owner. The owner is Bo Gergen, okay? Bo and Rick Gergen own that center. They are very high competitive bowlers. Bo Gergen has won Eagles, okay? Bo Gergen is a perfect example of a proprietor who not only cares about his bowlers, but also has a big following on the recreation side. There is enough time and enough during the day and night for you to cater to the league bowler and cater to the casual bowlers Saturdays and Sundays nights where you make a lot of your open play money. It can happen. That being said, you're right. They might need to hire maybe someone like, I don't know, me, right? Like, not saying I would take a job with Bolero, but hey, make me an area manager, okay? Give me a territory, like give me the state of Arizona, maybe Southern California. Let me go around to bowling centers and see like, hey, 12 o'clock on a Saturday, right? There's nobody here, but we have 6 people show up. Why don't we make half the bowling center non-cosmic bowling and make the other half of it cosmic, right? Like you could maneuver both ways if you know what you're doing or care about the competitive bowler. The problem is look, we've been really critical on Bolero, especially the CEO, and I'm not talking about Coley. I'm talking about the owner, the head guy, making comments. Tom Shannon making comments way before they owned the PBA about not even caring about competitive bowling. So we kind of know a little bit like of what their basis is, right? So, dude, yeah, it's a great topic of conversation because I feel like if Bolero can get that part down, where they can cater to not only the competitive bowler but the casual better,
it's over. It's game over.
They will do great, right?
It's game over. Here, look, the only surviving chance the mom and pop bowling center has at this point, to me, is they got two options: put a bunch of money in the place to compete with Bolero on that level, or really cater to the competitive bowler. You know, that's it.
Here's the problem issue though, and I got this sent to me by one of our fans. Bolero has closed two or three centers already without even telling anybody, and I know that for a fact. I could look up the Bolero centers if you really like want me to get into factual, but I read recently last week that Bolero just closed shop without telling anybody. So that's a concern to me. A real big concern to me is the fact that they would buy bowling centers and then close them. Okay. You know who did that? John Laspina did that in Brooklyn, New York. He would buy bowling centers and then close them. Okay. And that puts a real big problem in the bowling market. It creates a monopoly in the area when you only have one bowling center open and all the other bowling centers around them closed. Guess what those bowling centers can do, Mike? A monopoly. They raise the money and then the consumers end up paying for it. That's a concern of mine that Bolero is going to buy bowling centers and then close them. Okay, so
yeah, Bradley Horton in the chat saying I can bowl cheap all over the place, but on dry lane $7 a game is a little high, but I would definitely pay more for a little oil laid out or any pattern. Yeah, Bradley, I think you and I and Rob are probably in the extreme minority of feeling that way, but. You know, like I said, I'm fortunate. I'm only bowling probably 6 or 7 games anyway. So to go and spend $50 to have a 3-hour practice session with no one around me, no cosmic on, 2 pairs done fresh, so I can bowl on a pair for an hour and a half, see how they break down, how did I play and what ball to use, switch pairs and go to something different. You know, so to me, it's kind of worth it. But all right,
here's
Rob.
the thing is real quick, my last point here. Thanks, Doyle, man. Good to see you, brother. Look at holding the belt, dude. The champ holding the belt. It's Vince McMahon owns and runs Bolero. I mean, look, like Chad made a really good point last week on our show that I think needs to be really stressed. Is the fact that real estate property is affecting the bowling industry. Okay, so like Brooklyn, right, where we all know price of property and real estate is probably the highest in the whole country. When you own a bowling center, a 60-lane bowling center in the heart of Brooklyn, New York, you're going to make a lot of money selling it than you would be running that center for 50 years. That's the big problem right now is the price of real estate everywhere is so high.
I got to argue with you like I argued with Chad last week because I'll be honest, I think that argument is kind of just using the statistics to make the argument that you want. I mean, yes, that applies to Brooklyn, New York. I'm sure it applies to some other areas, but generally, Rob, if a place is really doing well and the business is booming and it's packed all the time, especially with concession sales and alcohol sales and these other things, I don't know. In a lot of areas, I might argue that that's not necessarily the case. But I understand your point in terms of a New York City. Probably New Jersey. I would imagine
Los
a lot
Angeles,
of places are the same. Yeah, California.
But
come on, you got to admit that's not true everywhere, though.
It's not. I mean, look, the heartland, Midwest, right? Like, a lot of the places that bowling is property is cheaper, and there's a lot of it, right? Farm cities, places where you could drive for miles and see farms, and bowling alley is not a big deal because look, there's so much property around. But you get in those high populated metro areas like a Detroit, like a Los Angeles, California, even places in like Dallas and Houston. Like, yeah, bowling centers are going to be, the property is worth way more money to the proprietors than it actually is running the center. Plus, when you run the center, you deal with the headaches, you deal with the liability, you deal with, in Brooklyn, you deal with people getting shot, you deal with all kinds of stuff in your bowling center where you might as well just sell it, cash out, and go to the bank, man, and live on an island somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah, fair enough. All right, we're gonna keep it moving here, Rob. We got to talk about my league last night, Rob. We're going back to back. We're going back to back, back to back 600s.
Well, I'm assuming since we didn't see the league bowler come on, I don't know what happened to him, but we haven't seen him.
What are you talking about?
Exactly, I haven't seen him, so I'd imagine you probably
what league bowler?
Yeah, I don't know. You missed it. You got to go rewatch the episode a few weeks ago.
Oh, all right. I will. I'll check it out. I usually don't rewatch our stuff, but I'll check it out.
Yeah, you should.
Okay. 603. 603 last night. Okay. Rob, bring it up. Bring it up. People, we're taking this to the next level on my league reports here. All right. We're actually bringing you the scoreboard. Okay. We're bringing you the
scoreboard. We're bowling the blinds. You only bowled two people instead of
No. There were three bowlers.
This guy bowled 78.
They can't see the 10th frame there, but
we need to talk about this. Let's put your 600 aside here. Let's talk about the guy who had a 78 in the night.
First of all, it's a young lady. Okay, it's a young lady, and she's brand new to bowling.
I love it. Right. I'm not going to make fun of it, okay? Because that's amazing.
Yeah, don't. Come on, let me give you the back. Her. I think I don't want. I'm going out on a limb here. I think her significant other also bowls on the team. Okay, so they're bowling together in the sport league. And listen, she's a very, very beginner bowler. So
I love it though. I love learning on that as a beginner. That's like learning to bowl on hard level instantly. You will get 1,000 times better learning on hard level, like instantly. So shout outs, man. That caught my eye. Like I'm not trying to
I know.
I'm all for it. Like
I
listen, love the fact that she's bowling.
You can see in the bottom of our screen on the left-hand side that we won the first game by like 250 or something, right? Which is ridiculous. Hold on. Keep the game up there. But here's what I said. Honestly, I respect anybody who comes out and bowls on this stuff. I do. I respect anybody who comes out and shoes up on this stuff just for being willing to try it, to being willing to go out and risk bowling bad. But all right, so here's what I'm clearly best at. I'm clearly best at lining up my teammates, okay? Because each week I basically text my teammates and tell them, hey, make sure you have this ball and this ball. I tell them what ball to use. I tell them kind of how to play the lanes. The first person, he listens to me very closely. The second guy, he doesn't always take my advice, which is fine.
They got to work on their spare shooting, Mike.
I know. But as you can see, high scores from them. First game, I struggled. The 3 splits were all 2-8-10 combinations. Okay.
Hit the weights. Hit the weights.
I know. The 9 spare on the double was a 9-pin. So that was kind of tough. And that really frustrated me. So didn't get off to a good start. 169. All right. Hit the second game, Rob. Nope. That's the third game. It's the 220.
Sorry, that's all the games I got, man. I don't know.
Oh, is it? All right. Okay. All right. You did. You had all 3 of them before. So second game, I shot 220. All right. Okay. I struggled to start. Had another split open in the beginning of the game, but I got it together and I threw like the last 5 or 6 for 220. This is my third game. I was at 490. Okay. I was at 490 after 2. This was my third game. Third frame was what was it? I think it was another 9-pin, and I missed it. Yeah, and I missed it. And then I, threw a strike. And I'll tell you, I really wanted to get up in the 10th and double, and I threw one of my worst shots of the night, man. It was like runaway cross, missed the head pin going left. Terrible, terrible shot. And
can't finish.
Yeah, gagged it, didn't finish the game, 212, but I was relaxed going in. I know. I just said can't finish, but I was relaxed going into the 10th, because I knew I had 600 wrapped up, and I was like, all right, I got my 6 here, which right now I think is a good goal. The pattern was the short pattern. We were bowling on the short. Okay. I forget what the name of it is.
Okay, so I got a really important question here that pulled up in the chat room.
Okay, here's why. Why is our team name not Sweep the Rack? Come on, Team 5. All right, we haven't changed it yet, but I got to be honest, it's not going to be Sweep the Rack podcast anyway, because the other guy that I bowl with, he's a very generous dude, and he owns his own trucking company, and he pays our entire league sponsorship fee, which is $80 a person. So the team gets named after his company, which is MD Trucking. And it's been MD Trucking for numerous years now that we've bowled together. But I am going to get us shirts, though, and I'm likely going to put the Sweep the Rack logo on the shirts with an MD Trucking logo. So we'll have that represented. And we all use Sweep the Rack rosin bags from Lindy's Bags. Shout to Lindy's Bags. Much appreciated, bro.
By the way, trucking prices right now are the highest they've ever been in this country. So your boy's making a shitload of money.
Oh, my God. I can't even discuss.
I'm telling you, because that's what I do. You know that,
right?
I
know. Oh, I know. Believe me. I'm not going to put his personal business out there, but yeah, I know.
They're making a ton of money. Ooh, boy. You
don't even know. 603, Rob. 603, back to 600. Somebody, I think it was Nico in the chat, was saying, are you really going to brag about a 603? Yes. Yes, I am. I'm going to sit here and brag about a 603 because I guarantee you most of you hacks in the chat couldn't come out and shoot 603 on what I shot 603 on.
Please. All right? I'll go at 650 all day on that.
Oh, listen, your name came up last night, Rob, because somebody asked me, my teammate asked me, like, hey, is Rob a good bowler? And I said, yes, Rob's a very good bowler. And he was like, if Rob came to bowl this league, would he bowl good? Would he whack him? I said, bro, honestly, if Rob came to bowl this league, he'd probably be the best bowler in the league. And I believe that. Mike. I believe that. I mean, especially on something really tough, I know that's going to bring out the best in you and give you even more of an advantage than you would have on something easy. There are a couple good bowlers in the league, though. So, I think like top 3 is very reasonable, but wouldn't surprise me if you were the high average in this league. But
I appreciate that, Mike. That's from you. That means a lot.
Hey, I call them as I see them. You know what I'm saying? Thanks, I call them as I see them. So, hey, I'm at Nob Hill every other Friday for anybody that wants to come out and try it on sport. You can come and bowl me. You see the scores I shoot. Come and give it a shot. I had a great time, Rob. I'll be out practicing again. I still left 40, 50 pins out there easy. Probably more if I would have made some more good shots. Probably need to drill an additional ball for the short because I need something that's like symmetric but strong cover because the gutters don't really hook. Last night I used a Columbia 300 lit, an old one that has some surface on it, the purple one, with a really high pin, like way over the fingers. So I didn't feel like that was the best choice.
And honestly,
but it's what I have.
Storm Roto Grip makes the best strong symmetric balls, in my opinion, on the market.
Sure, absolutely.
So I would probably look into something like a something strong, like surface wise. You need something long and
like cover wise,
yeah, cover. Man, I mean, there's so much stuff you could look.
I mean, I was thinking IQ Tour, like regular IQ Tour.
You can never go wrong with that,
right?
Ball.
Leave it a little dull. Like there's actually a guy who throws that on the short, and he's been absolutely crushing them. I thought about that ball too, Dave, the Zen Master, because I just drilled the Zen, and I really like that. And my only problem there, Dave, is I think that that the Zen Master might hook a little bit too early and too much for what we're bowling on the short there. Nico's asking me, no purple hammer? Yeah, of course I have a purple hammer, Nico. The gutters don't hook, though. So, if you're going to use it, you better be throwing it straight or at the head pin right to left. And I'll be honest, I'm not real good at that.
It sounds like you really need that you can't find is one of those IQ golds. Do you remember the original, the IQ gold pearl?
I don't think it would be enough.
You don't think
I don't think it would be enough ball. Nah, too skid flippy. Yeah, I need something. I need something more controlled off of the spot.
IQ Tour.
More controlled off the spot. So
I think that's what you need, Mike. An IQ Tour.
All right, I'm going to order it after
you can't go wrong with that. Can't go wrong with that.
No doubt.
But Mike, so there's been a lot of debate. Are we done with your league? Do you want to keep going, or
no? I have another story. I'm sorry.
Go for it.
I witnessed the hit and run on the way home from league last night. I was almost the second victim in a hit and run.
Yeah.
I'm driving home. Dude is making a left turn on a side street. Car, 25-mile-an-hour speed limit car comes out of nowhere. Had to be doing 50. Plows into the car. Almost rams into me. I pull my car over to see if I got hit or if there's any damage. Dude drives away. So then I had to stay there until the cops came. So I called 911. They took my name and all that. So that was definitely a crazy end to the night. But I also want to give a shout out to my teammate Paulie. He bowled extremely good last night. And Rob, this guy is a character, bro. He's a character. He was talking to the young lady that we were bowling against last night. And at one point, I wasn't really following their conversation, but at one point, he pulls out his phone and he pulls up a picture of like a display case inside a bowling alley. Okay? Display case inside the bowling alley. And I look at the picture closely, and here, the display case is a display that they set up for him after he shot 878. And he's telling her, hey, look, I shot 878 one time.
He was fig jamming.
Yeah, and I seen him doing this, and I said, yo, Paulie, I'm like, telling somebody you shot 878 on house is like showing a chick a fake diamond chain. Like you're just trying to fool them, And it was just a funny night, crazy ending to the night. So
I got the ball, that better ball than an IQ Tour to drill up. Do you drill a phase 2?
I have one.
Oh, and then that doesn't roll good on that?
It's a little too smooth.
Oh,
it is.
The IQ Tour is going to be even smoother than the phase 2.
I feel like the IQ Tour can be sharper off of the spot. The phase 2 is not very sharp off the spot, even when they're sharp, even when they're short.
What about a web? If you could find an original Web Tour edition, that would be good too.
Yeah, I think I have one of those too. Actually, I think that might have cracked, but I think I have one, and I should try that. You're right.
Or the new Web is good too. The new Web that they just came out with.
Which one? The Web MB or the Web Pearl?
The green one.
The Web Pearl. I have that too. I thought about using that as well.
Yo, Matt, it's true. Mike, come on, man. 878 says 878. House or not? Agreed. Dude. Mike, what's your highest series on house? What's your highest series?
Like 18.
Yeah, so that's how.
So what? I mean,
870 is a big score regardless of.
I understand, but it's not about skill, though. It's about
870
matching
is
up. No, it's not. It's about
you still
matching
gotta
up, and like
you still
you
gotta
you get
throw.
the right ball and the right situation, and almost anybody can be in a position to not miss. You know?
I disagree. I still think you got to make shots when you bowl 870. I mean, look, I'm not
All
going to
right,
shoot my
I'll
own
say
horn here, but I
878 is a
bowled
huge
870.
number. It's a
I bowled
huge number,
870.
no question.
It's a lot. You got to really be on your game to bowl 870, even when they're dead easy.
I mean,
Because
listen, I went, I think 290, 300 once, or 279, 300, and didn't shoot 800. So I understand. Like I mean, I get that that's a huge number, but at the same time, I think that it's just easier to get locked in and stay locked in these days.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
All right, that's my
anyway.
league report.
So
it's my league
cool.
report.
Well,
Rob.
that's a good league report.
Thank you.
So there's been some a little bit of talk online, and I saw some stuff come on the USBC message board about the USBC was doing some testing for string pins, Mike. Pins with strings attached to them. Now, what a weird concept, just because, look, I grew up with string pins in like the arcade, right? Like, or maybe, I don't know, going to like one of those, what was those bowling centers they had in Connecticut with the little ball?
The duck pin.
Duck pin, right? Duck pin, those were string, right? String pins?
No. Duck pin's not string pin. No.
Oh, well, okay. So I'm thinking more arcades, right? Like Dave and Buster's. Okay. Now, they were doing legit testing on string pins. Now, I mean, what do you I mean, is that something that would bring you thinking? And look, in my opinion, if anybody would be a proponent, like a person who would be supportive of that idea, would be you, right? Because string pins would bring scores down. No, like, I mean, if they,
I'm not going to sit here and claim to know anything about the impact of string pins on scoring. I think you're just bullshitting and speculating and throwing that out there to try and.
What, the USBC? Speculating what? The USBC wasn't testing string pins?
What? No. Is that what they found, that it brings scores down?
No, I don't know what they found.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You're speculating about that because you just want me to say, oh, yeah, if it brings scores down, sure, let's do it. No, here's what I'm going to say. If string pins becomes the new thing in bowling, I'm out. I'm quitting. That's it. I'm done. I'm sorry.
Dude,
that's
big news.
That is not the traditional game. Okay?
They're saving bowling centers.
Yeah, exactly, Robert. Robert says, from what I've heard, some centers are doing it just to save money on maintenance. Howard says, saw a video on it and saw more carry with the strings hitting the pins. Yeah, I would imagine that they fly all over, too. There was a tournament down in Florida where they used string pins, and I watched some of it. And, I mean, they were just destroying racks. I mean, it was ridiculous the way the pins were jumping off the rack. So,
big wheel in the house. The big wheel. Scores would go way down, but give High Rev even more of an advantage. Dude,
great!
Love that. Big wheel would be killing him, dude. He'd be by the way, side note, they're actually renaming the Bowlers Journal tournament after Matt Anderson. They're gonna call it the Big Wheel Open from now on because my man dominated the Bowlers Journal. Black Hammer up 5. My guy made 100 checks, dude. He
bowling.
He retired, dude. He's not even working. He retired, man. He's just living off that. He's living off the Bowlers Journal paychecks.
Yeah, Jimmy from the Ringing 10 comment in the chat saw wild split conversions. Me too. I remember that too, Jimmy. I saw some of those as well. So listen, I'm just saying, it's bad enough as it is. We go to string pins and that becomes the new thing. I'm out.
I agree.
That's it. That's it for me. That's like a line in the sand thing that I just can't do. I'm not going to go any further, but I'm going to say this. Wouldn't surprise me one bit. Wouldn't surprise me one bit with the maintenance problems and the cost of hiring people to do maintenance and all these other issues that bowling centers have. Wouldn't surprise me one bit. But for me, USBC, sorry guys, I'll still do the podcast, but I'm not. I won't. I cannot participate.
But USBC is not. The findings were. They're not going to, sanction it or certify it. So now, would that mean that will be if some bowling centers decide to go in that route? That's going to be a bigger divide, right? Of this bowling centers that decide not to do it, and then a lot of the bowling centers that maybe do it.
Well, what is the largest bowling center owner in the world, Bolero, care about the sanctioning issue? They're starting their own sanctioning.
I know. That's what
program.
I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So maybe that's something.
If they decide to put in string pins, they might tell the USBC to go pound sand, and we don't need your sanctioning anymore. We're going to sanction these people ourselves on the string pins.
They might. You're right. You're right. That could be. That's crazy to think about. You know. So. You'd have to drive you might not have to drive a half hour. You might be driving now 2 hours to find a bowling center that's non-string pins. Personally, I think it would ruin the sport. You know, that's just my opinion. I'm already retired, but I probably would quit. So I mean, like
again,
you know, that's what I'm saying. I'm retired right now, but I might actually quit if that happened. You know.
Oh man, my goodness. No, Robert Hamilton is saying, imagine the PBA and PWBA tour on those swing pins. No, listen, Robert, I honestly, I don't think it would absolutely shock me if that's where it went. And the bowlers in the PBA were just like, okay, fine. Bolero wants us to compete on string pins. All right, that's what we're going to do. I don't know. I think at some point they would have to draw a line and say, no, this is not the same game that we're playing here.
Matt Anderson's like bowl on them once and I'd flat 10 every shot. It's because it wasn't at the Orleans. If it was at the Orleans, that 10 would be just falling, no questions asked. But yeah, what a shit show that would be. Could you imagine like those podcasts and how angry we would be? Oh my goodness. Oh man. God, the fury that would bring would be. I hope it never happens. Look, I think that bowling, if you really want to like make a little bit more integrity, personally, I think there's two things that need to happen. Okay, either they need to make the pins heavier, okay, to lower scores, or they need to start really developing and putting some more research into oil and oiling lanes, because the bowling balls aren't going away. The technology isn't going away. I feel like that the lanes and the oil and the pins, they need to kind of catch up to the technology. That's just my opinion, but
fair point. All right, Rob. I don't really see much in the chat.
I did see one question though. Right? I did see one though that I wanted to bring up because I know there's probably a lot of talk about our Chad Murphy interview last week and what was like the follow up. But so I guess I can't find the comment because we have so many comments right now. But I believe it was by Matt Malzahn was asking about what the follow up to our Chad Murphy interview was last week, and if we heard from him or he decided to go on radio silence. So Chad did reach out to us. He did, enjoy being on. Look, Chad, shouts to Chad Murphy for coming on and being on the firing squad because he definitely was on the hot seat when he came on. Mike definitely didn't hold back, let him know what was on our mind. We tried to do it in as much respectful as a way because look, I respect Chad Murphy. I know Mike respects Chad Murphy, and I know a lot of people give him a lot of shit and a lot of like slack. But look, he came on and he answered our questions. Let alone if you don't think it was direct or not, he did have a lot of data and metrics to back up a lot what he was saying. Now that doesn't mean that we had to agree and disagree. But he didn't email us. He did, wish us well, tell us he can't, wait to hear the show tonight. And, he did talk about a little bit about more, followed up on more the consumer demand, because we definitely hammered that a little bit on the business side. But one of the points he made in his emails was that the reason why that they're concerned with the business side is because the business side ultimately pays for the competitive side. Meaning like if the bowling guys aren't making money, then they're going to be closing up and then we're not going to have competitive bowling at all. So that was the point he made, Mike. I'm not sure if you have any follow-up to that, but Chad, I believe, is still in our good graces.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I emailed him back. It's a mutual respect there, as we said on the show. I don't have too much to say about the interview. I think I kind of said my piece during the interview. I will say this: I would love to get him on as a regular guest, Rob, even if it's for like 20 minutes a month, because I just think that that was good conversation, and I think it was good back and forth. And I think that you and I present a perspective that is underrepresented in bowling to a degree. So yeah, I just thought it was a good back and forth. So we'll see. We'll see. I mean, he's busy and has a lot going on. So
How about
We'll
that, boys?
Is Jalen Hurts the answer in Philly? All right, I'll answer that. It's early. It's early to make that determination, but early evidence points to no. Okay, early evidence points to no. Early evidence also points to Nick Sirianni being a complete dope. So we'll see where that goes. But anyway, listen, I was happy actually that they got blown out on Monday night. The game was I wanted it to be a blowout either way, just so I could go to bed, because I hate having to stay up for a close game on Monday nights. I really do. So.
Well, it looks like we got some more. Let me answer this. Is Trevor Lawrence the answer in Jacksonville? Look, every rookie quarterback right now is struggling. My Zach Wilson is struggling. Trevor Lawrence is struggling. Justin Fields, I mean, he didn't really have a chance. He just played one game. Even Mac is struggling in New England. It's too early to answer any questions when it comes to rookie quarterbacks and, if they're the answer. It's very rare that a rookie quarterback comes in and has a, great season like a Joe Burrow or, someone who like an Andrew Luck, right, who did struggle his rookie year too, had a lot of interceptions. So I think that we'll have more of an answer like by the end of the year and by next year if, some of these rookies are the answer. But look, Jacksonville was a 1-15 team. The Jets were a 2-14 team. These are shitty teams that these rookie quarterbacks are coming on. So,
I want to highlight this comment. Bradley Horton says, "Change my work schedule to be off Monday to watch the Eagles, and to be off tonight to finally catch a live show with you guys." Yo, shout to you, Bradley Horton. We appreciate the support, man. My dude. That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable to me. No, hold on. Before we go there, we're going here. This is a great question. Matt Spear. What would you guys say is your greatest achievement in bowling? That's an excellent question, Matt. For me, I'll be honest, that's pretty easy. It's my accomplishments as a high school coach. You all know I claim to be the GOAT of New Jersey high school bowling coaches. I was ranting
in the state.
I was ranting on Twitter earlier this week about how angry and bitter I am that several years ago I didn't get included in the top 100 coaches, high school coaches of all time in New Jersey. But no, listen, in all seriousness, I started a high school bowling program from scratch. First time I met with the team, I told them, if you stick with me and you work hard with me, we're gonna win. We're gonna win state titles right here, and we did that. But by the time the freshmen that were in that room graduated, we had won our first overall state title. We ended up in New Jersey. They almost all sports play down to one state champion. Right, so there's a overall state championship in most of the sports. Bowling changed their format to be one overall state champion in like 2007, which was a couple years before our team got in it. When we came in it, we won that overall state championship 4 times in 12 years. We won it 4 times in 12 years. The next closest school has only won it twice in like 17 years now. So yeah, I mean we dominated for a long time. So that would be my. I mean I and just the relationships I have with kids, and a lot of kids still bowl. So yeah, very special thing to me. But what about you, Rob? What's your biggest accomplishment in bowling?
I would say
being in bowling this month as the future star. That's what it would be if I were you. I mean, that was amazing. God, you were like a junior bowling idol when you made it in that magazine. Oh, it was crazy. It was crazy.
I would say my biggest achievement is probably being 2-time All-American for SVSU in college, even though I really think that I should have been a first-team All-American my junior year. And my other achievement that I love bragging about is sweeping Bill O'Neill 4-0 at a bowling tournament. Not a bowling tournament. So quick story. When I lived with Bill, there was a medium room and a small room. And in order to pick who got the bigger room, we went to the local bowling center when we bowled each other best 4 out of 7. And I ran the broom on him. I literally swept him 4-0 for a whole year. I was living with him. I literally would just be like, "Oh, I love being in my bigger room." I didn't let him hear the end of it. I did have an advantage because I bowled league there for a year, and that was his first time in the bowling center. other than that, being my real biggest achievement was definitely being 2-time All-American at Saginaw Valley State. Okay, so real quick, some other questions here. A lot of football questions. Real quick, can Tom Brady win again? Dude, bet the house on the on the Bucks next week playing the Patriots. Dude, Tom Brady is going to absolutely slaughter them in New England next week. It's going to be fun to watch. So real quick, let's go and see if we could. Hey, did you check out the guy who bowled 300, 299, 300?
Yeah.
Another close to 900. What else is going on? Rob, what's your best high school bowling moment? Easy. That's winning Iron Horse, baby. Best 4-year senior athlete. Getting my trophy or plaque presented at the Heisman in New York City. That was an amazing experience, and I got a pretty good scholarship for that too.
Shooting 300 my junior year of high school. 300, 758. I think I came within 7 pins of breaking the all-time city record, Catholic League record for Philly. So I just answered that one. My first 300 was when I was 15 or 16. I was junior in high school.
Yeah, 95. That was my first. So I was 14 years old when I bowled my first 300. Playoff match against South Shore. No thanks, Brian. Yeah, you're rubbing it in because Brian bowled for a competing high school and used to beat us.
This is an interesting question. Eddie Grumman, if you had one chance where you could interview anyone, celebrity, athlete, actor, etc., who would it be?
If you had one person, celeb, athlete, actor, who would it be? Wow. I would honestly, this is probably really cliche, but I would probably say Michael Jordan because of just how much he's accomplished in his career and how good he was under pressure. And I would just love to talk to him. It would be a cross between him and The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. I love The Rock. I think everything The Rock does is amazing. And he's going to run for president one day and be it. So those would be my two, would be Michael Jordan and Dwayne Johnson.
I mean, I'm going bowling on this, obviously, because that's just the way my mind works.
Earl Anthony?
Mark Roth.
Mark Roth?
Yeah, Mark Roth. I that would be some all-time shit if we ever, were able or find. I know his health has not been good for a little while, but yeah, that would be some all-time shit if we could get somebody like that on the show and interview them. Somebody who's living legend type status. This is a great question, Robert Hamilton. So, what was you guys' best JBT victory?
We already know my best victory was.
Yeah, JBT challenge brackets, super bracket, Himmelrick match. Yeah, in front of the crowd Saturday night at the JBT challenge, no doubt on the absolute unbelievable burn at Carolier. Unbelievable burn.
I was using that blue Triton ball. I forgot the name of it. It was not an elite, not a heat. It was it was
just Triton. It was just Triton.
Maybe, but I remember. What about your best JBT victory, Mike? Did you ever beat me? Probably. I'd imagine you did.
I don't know. I don't think we ever really bowled
each other, did we?
No, we didn't too much.
No. Because you were always watching.
It's funny. I don't. The thing that I remember the most about the JBT was actually not a win for me, but 2 years in a row, I made the step ladder and finished second 2 years in a row at the Thanksgiving Classic Baker Lanes. It was like a really big match play tournament where every pair you would go to, you would bowl everybody on your pair.
I think I lost Mike. Oh, well, we'll have to come back in. So I'm going to go and talk about real quick. Do either of you think you could have won a PBA title at some point? Honestly, I really believe that if I would have been bowling. Oh, wait, Mike's back.
Sorry about that. A little technical difficulty. So I finished second 2 years in a row at the Thanksgiving Classic at Baker. First year, Lee Wenzel shot 290 against me. Second year, Don Pyle shot 290 against me. So I got 290 shot against me back-to-back in a JBT major 2 years in a row and finished second. I was always at the top of the scholarship winnings for the year because that tournament was like one of the highest paying tournaments, and I finished second 2 years in a row. So it always got you near the top of the scholarship winnings. I did win a JBT title again, and people ain't even going to believe this, but I won a JBT title against Walter Hastings It was at a not highly attended event in the mountains of Pottsville, Pennsylvania, at a place called Plaza Lanes, and the ceiling was actually leaking onto the lanes, and we had to move pairs in the stepladder. They had to move the stepladder pair because a leak developed through the ceiling onto the lane. And yeah, I think moving pairs gave me the advantage, and I actually beat Walter Hastings. I couldn't even believe I beat him. So yeah.
Jimmy, ring in 10, man. Always good to hear from you. Do either of you think you could have won a PBA title? Now, here's my question. Because
my goodness,
are we talking a PBA regional title, or are we talking a PBA national title?
No, he's talking PBA national title.
National title. Do I think I ever could have won a PBA national title? Look, honest to God, and this is let's answer the question first.
Okay.
I believe that. Yes, I believe that. Look, I bowled with John Nolan in college. Okay, I started above John Nolan in college. John Nolan went to win the Masters at the USBC. Okay, I really believe there was one tournament or format that someone like me could have won. It would have been a tournament like the Masters, or a tournament when they were doing the best 4 out of 7 match play, because I feel like you have a better chance of winning a national title if you were bowling a best 4 out of 7 match. So yes, I do believe if that format and I was bowling and being on tour and didn't have a job, I think I could have made a show or two here and there. And now I wouldn't have been as dominant as someone like, these guys are like a Bill O'Neill type, but I really think I could have gotten there if I really would have had my head on straight and the format fit me right. But look, if you live in the past, then you'll just, beat yourself up. So I talk about it in my interview with Fef, man, about a lot of the what ifs,
The answer to that for not only Rob and I, but for literally, and Rob, you'll back me up on this, dozens of other guys that we knew. The answer to that question is a resounding yes. But that's part of the problem with bowling, is that out of all those guys that we knew who had the talent to continue bowling at that high of a level and go out and compete on tour and probably win at some point if they put the time in, I think only about 3 or 4, maybe 5 from our generation of bowlers, and that's probably spanning 2 generations actually, ended up out there as multiple title winners. So yeah, there's a lot of guys like us who bowled at an extremely high level, and then after we were done college, prospects were, go chase bowling, where you were, obviously you weren't going to make much money, and then, or go get a job that was going to pay serious money. So a lot of us took the option of getting a job. And at that point, the bowling's got to go on the back burner. So yeah, for a lot of us, a lot of people, I mean, Rob, we can name so many names like Matt Burley, Ryan Snyder, Tommy Haig, Don Pyle. I mean,
Rory
Thornton. Yeah, Derek Oaf.
Ryan May.
Who was the kid who anchored Derek Sapp? Derek Sapp. Okay. Dude, you want to talk about somebody? You want to talk about somebody who, if he really had the shot to go out there and do it. I mean, this guy was an animal. Like, he
Jeremy
was a
Sonnenfeld.
Yeah, another good example.
Dude, PJ Haggerty is a good example.
PJ's and it's like, how long do you expect guys to be able to sustain themselves in terms of their lives and making money while they're out there struggling like that? I mean, the guys who can sustain that are few and far between. So somebody asked. Good to hear from you, dude. Yeah, somebody asked if I'm the one who keyed Chad Murphy's car. No, I'm not.
Mike doesn't. Let me tell you something about Mike. Mike's not the type to key someone's car. If Mike has an issue with you, you're gonna know about it to his face. He's not gonna key your car.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do some slick shit behind your back. I'm gonna wait for you at your car and confront you as you come out of wherever you're at your car.
100%,
That's the way it's gonna go down.
Scott
Camp asks, what's the best action story from back in the day? I'm assuming he's saying like that we were involved in, right?
We were involved in best action story.
Yeah. So for me, Oh man, I have quite a few good ones. But yeah, I'll probably say that it was a match where me and Jeff Butler bowled, I think Alex Cavagnero and Dave Botkowski one night at Roosevelt Lanes, and we were all very talented at that time, and it was definitely a strong match, and there was quite a bit of money on the line, I believe, and the match got rather heated. There was like an unbelievable amount of shit talking going on during this match, and at one point, Jeff Butler, if I'm remembering this correctly, Jeff Butler caught a break. I think he like left a 10 pin and it slow rolled across the deck, and he chipped the 10 pin over just as the rack was coming down, and this dude walked off the approach and kissed Dave Botkowski on the cheek after he did this. I mean, it was like it was the perfect like it was just like a and like it was just the place went wild, son. I honestly never seen a bowling alley go this wild as when Jeff did this. But you got to understand, we were in Jeff's hometown. Like this was Jersey City where Jeff grew up, and I went to school there, so it was definitely kind of a home crowd for us against these guys coming over from New York to bowl. But yeah, that was definitely a hype one. Great match.
Yeah, obviously, Robert Hamilton brings up a good one. One that I wasn't involved in was the 7-10 challenge match at the Hoinky. If you don't know that, go watch our Joe Stillman interview. It's one of our first year or 2 year. Like, I don't know. You got to look. I don't know what the episode number is, but you could find it. If you just look for it, was our only interview we did with Joe Stillman. My personal favorite match was I bowled a tournament one time in New Jersey. I'm not really sure where it was. And my brother was there with me, and Dave absolutely crushed the field. I think he actually won the tournament as an amateur, and he made a ton of money. And then after the tournament was over, two guys approached him and said, "Hey, do you and your brother want to bowl us in a doubles match?" It was a guy by the name of the Bebop and X-Man.
I know them both. They both bowled at Roosevelt.
Right. So
I just got a phone call from Bebop too last week.
Yeah. So they approached us, and my brother was like, "Are they serious? Like, don't they realize what I just did on this shot? Like, he just crushed them." So me and my brother bowled them, and we literally beat them like 5 games straight. We didn't lose, and it wasn't even close. Like, we just I
wouldn't imagine that it would be.
It was absolutely a fucking melee. And we walked out of there with a ton more money, and like bowling with my brother and just beating up people was like my favorite action story. Like, it gives me a lot of nostalgia.
No doubt.
So anyway,
great questions though, folks. Great questions.
Yeah, we love it.
We enjoyed that.
Perfect.
All right, Rob, it's that time of the week, yo. You want to go or you want me to go?
I gotta find it, but I have it here. Okay, so my worst of the week goes to
I love worst of the week.
That keeps on giving, the USBC Bowlers Discussion Forum by the man of the name of Alan McDonald.
Jeff needs the worst of the week background for the rosin bags. Come on, get it to him. I want a worst of the week rosin bag. Come on, send it to him. You gotta send it to me.
You gotta remind me. Jukebox during league play. Problem or no problem? Never been a personal problem for me. A good bowler should be able to block it out or use it as motivation. Just curious how the rest of the bowling community feels. The motivation for my question is because last Tuesday night at league, I had played a few songs on the jukebox, and someone, capital letters, not even in the league, made them turn it off, but allowed obnoxious rap music to be blared. It wasn't until I packed up my gear and threatened to walk, they finally turned it off totally. Mike, I responded, sarcastic as I can be, and I wrote, "The damn jukebox always messing with my league scores." Mike, people are so just what world are we living in when people are complaining about what music's on a fucking jukebox? And
while
what
they
bowling
bowl.
alley has a jukebox? Okay, like,
Can I be honest? For a second, I thought he might have been talking about me. I thought I might have been the guy who, who asked him to turn it down. I was going to ask you, like, did this come from Hazlitt Lanes on Tuesday night? I'm that guy. I will go up to the desk and say, "Hey, can you shut the music off?" Because I hate having the music on in the background while I'm trying to bowl.
what?
Yeah, I
God,
do.
you're like
I
a male
do.
Karen. I'm gonna call you Big Karen.
I
That's
don't
gonna be your
know.
new name.
It's just I don't know. It's hard. It's hard for me to really concentrate when there's music playing.
Concentrate. It's league. You don't need to concentrate. You
Bowling on
bowl,
tough
man.
stuff, man.
Dude,
You
who
know?
cares?
Come
Dude.
on, man. I'm confused by that post, though. Right? I'm confused. Let me explain.
What
So,
Bolton
like,
has a jukebox?
he, well, that's one thing. Yeah, the bowling center has a jukebox. I'm confused by that. He says that he picked some songs, right?
Right.
And then somebody shut those songs off.
Uh-huh.
But then somebody else played some hip hop songs and they let them play. So I'm confused. Like, what did he pick to play that was so bad that they had to shut it off? But the hip hop songs played. I don't know. Like, was it just a choice in music thing? Like, no, we don't play that type of music here. Shut that shit off. Or was it like, oh, this song has inappropriate language in it, and
No,
we
but,
don't
like,
play that here? I don't know. I'm confused.
This guy sounds like the type where he thinks like the Black Eyed Peas are like rap music. You know what I mean? Like, they put on that rap music, and it's like Macklemore. It's like Macklemore and Ryan Lewis. You know, like, come on, man. Like, I mean, did they put on like, you know, I don't know, old school Tupac? Did they put on like, you know, who's that rapper out of Philly who's, you know, who everyone loves?
Meek Mill.
Meek Mill. Did they put Meek Mill? Because that's like rap music,
They
right?
put
Or
Dreams and Nightmares on.
Did they put on Black Eyed Peas, you know, and like Macklemore, like that old rap music is, oh, God only knows, but whatever. I thought that was a funny post.
All right, here's mine. I alerted the people earlier today what I was putting out here because I wanted the people to see it on Twitter. Found a Twitter account today called Bowling with Don. It's at Bowling with Don. Hi, Don. He followed me. Thanks for the follow, Don. You're the winner of Worst of the Week this week, Don.
He followed you, and then you put him on Worst of the Week?
Yeah. He also does a bowling blog. My Twitter is at the 215, at the 215, at THE, the number 2, ONE, the number 5, TH, okay? Bowling with Don. He does a bowling blog too. All right, here's his tweet. You ready?
I'm ready.
I just bowled the at PBA Tour hashtag PBA Global Showdown. Hashtag Global Showdown. Hashtag bowling. And I'm ranked 1,934th right now in Group 1 of qualifying. And I couldn't. And I. Are you ready? Are you ready? And I couldn't be more stoked at bowling my first competition with people from around the world. At Lane Talk
International
Bowling.
play, Mike. International play.
At Lane Talk Bowling. Hashtag it's a start. Hashtag serious bowler. Don.
It's first competition. International play, Mike.
Don, jump in my DMs. Okay. You follow me. Jump in my DMs. I'll explain some of the errors of your thinking here. All right, but just a couple quick things, Don, if you're listening. Okay. The PBA Global Challenge is not an international competition. All right. Generally, I knew Rob was going to lose his shit when I told you before we started the show that you were going to have an episode on the show tonight. He's having an episode right now.
He's ranked 1900 in the world. He had a good first round.
Yeah, he's stoked at his 1934th in the world ranking. It's not an international competition. Don, usually in bowling competitions, people compete in the same bowling alley, the same bowling center. This is not even really a bowling competition. It's really a business driving gimmick. I'll leave it at that for right now. Hashtag serious bowler, bro. And you know what? Can I say something? And this is gonna sound elitist to a degree, but I have to say it, right? Part of the problem in the bowling community right now is that we are so desperate for participants in the bowling community that we will accept any standard of what comes into the bowling community, right? And I don't know. Like I think that at some point, you have to earn your stripes, if you understand what I'm saying by that. I don't think that you should just be able to waltz in and, announce yourself as a major part of a high level community, without putting your stripes in and earning your dues like many of us have. So, this is what happens when you create that environment. People think that a PBA Global Showdown is an international tournament. So, worst of the week. It's what I got for you, yo. Hit it for the people, Rob. All right, Rob. We're overtime every week. I wanted to be done in 45 minutes. We're an hour and 20 in.
I know.
Final thoughts, quickly, please. I'm exhausted.
I really don't got any. I don't really got anything, Mike. I told you it was kind of a dull week. So yeah, I don't got anything tonight, Mike. Sorry.
All right. Here's my final thoughts. Jeff Lindenmuth from Lindy's Bags is running a cancer benefit. It's coming up soon. If anybody wants to get in touch with them, if you want to donate, cash, prizes, something that you have, whatever it may be, reach out to them. All right, we're trying to help them with that, so reach out to them. I'm going to continue to work on my practice session and improving things. Hopefully, I have a match next week. I think I might have a match for the following week after that as well, so we'll see how that goes. I'll be out practicing a little bit this weekend for sure. Got a couple events coming up, so I'm stoked about that. And Rob, that's it. I'm excited for next week for us to discuss this PBA schedule. I'm super excited to do this. I'm gonna put some serious time in on this throughout the week.
Hey, real quick, Bradley. I want to read his comment because this will be my final thought. I finished dead last in an over 18, under 18 duo tournament with my 8-year-old daughter a few weeks ago. Honestly, like it's when you're bowling with your 8-year-old daughter, it's not really about what place you finish. It's about being in bowling with, your daughter and her being able to bowl with you. And I'm sure she enjoyed every minute of it, even though you guys might not have bowled greatest. But just keep, supportive and keep practicing with her. And, there's a lot of great scholarship opportunities out there for like lady bowlers these days. So get her to love the sport that we love. And, hey, you might end up not paying for college while you're doing it.
Yeah, grow the sport for sure. Grow the sport, absolutely. But all right, Rob, always fun, man. Guys, give us a follow on Twitter. He's at BrooklynRob11. I'm at the 215. It's THE, the number 2, ONE, the number 5, TH. Sweep the Rack on all platforms. Sweep the Rack at Gmail. Reach out to us. We love the emails. We love hearing from people. We love to hear your thoughts on the show. Rob, just giving the people a little preview, there's a chance that the people are going to hear from us more often sooner than later. Yes.
Yeah, we're working on it. Got some stuff in the works, trying to get some things going. So yeah, maybe there might be some more content getting put out, but hopefully
we're trying. We're working on some stuff for you guys. We're possibly going to be making some changes and additions around here and doing things a little bit differently. So stay tuned for that. Everybody have a great week. Enjoy your bowling. Have a great time. And, we'll see everybody next week.
Peace.
You are now listening to Sweep the Rack podcast featuring Brooklyn Rob and Big Mike.